Teratophiliacs, get ready, your movie has arrived. Look that word up at your own risk. Alien Romulus. So Alien Romulus is the 7th movie overall in the Alien movie franchise, if you don't count the AVP movies, which you shouldn't because they're not considered canon. This movie takes place in between the first 2 movies, Alien and Aliens. So in Alien Romulus, we have this group of 5 people. They're scavengers, they're looking to get away from their life, so they make a stop at this derelict outpost called the Romulus, because it has something they need, and from there, alienish things start happening, and people start getting scared. Now we have a new Alien movie. And it's directed by Fede Álvarez, who has now established himself as a well-known horror movie director. Because this movie, oh, it has the horror. Oh my. Because yeah, I'll say Alien Romulus is really cool. For the most part. Granted, I know, alright, this is coming from someone who still enjoys Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I know they are divisive among fans. Some people really hate them. I still enjoy them. So now you know who's reviewing this movie. Really, one of the most important aspects of an Alien movie is its characters. Because, you know, you take the crew of the original film, they were relatable. They were people, same thing with aliens. So how are the characters in this movie? They were alright. Kaylee Spaney plays the main character in this movie. You may remember this actress from the movie Civil War, and she was mostly pretty cool. You can tell there are some scenes where she's totally trying to emulate Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley from the original films. In some ways, that's really on the nose. But other than that, I thought she was alright. More interesting character in this movie is Andy, played by David Johnson. He's her brother, with a pretty sweet name. He is more emotionally complex. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but he has a lot of interesting moments in this film. Moments where he's like, I'm not sure what I should do here, trying to keep it vague. His moral compass is not always pointing in the right direction, which I thought made him pretty neat. The rest of this group, though, they are pretty expendable. You have Isabella Merced, who pretty much just screams and cries all the time. Then you have the guys who are douchebags. And then you have that other girl who gets the chest burster. You saw it in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling it. Seriously, first time she popped up in this movie, I recognized her from the trailer. I was like, you're gonna die. It was pretty funny. That was an awesome scene too, but I'll get to that in a minute. The beginning of this movie, the setup, I did think was a little slow, but then again, it's an alien movie. I mean, you look at the first movie, yeah, it is pretty slow throughout, so I get it. This movie is trying to throw it back and pay homage to the original Alien, and it really does succeed in that. For the most part. And that does include the pacing. The beginning of this movie I did feel was pretty slow. Because, you know, you're used to big summer movies starting out strong like big action movies usually do. You know, like most big action movies, they start off with an action scene to get you started. Alien movies don't usually do that. I mean, granted, this is not an action movie, it's a horror movie, completely different camps. And it does start out slow, but the other side of that is it does build up the tension in the tone, like it's supposed to do. So I give this movie credit for that. Doesn't change the fact that the first half an hour of this movie, I was like, alright, I'm getting kind of bored. Something can happen now. That's just me. And the set design is really good. Again, throwing it back to the original, you got these long, dark hallways that are all dirty and gross and needlessly wet for some reason. I'm like, yeah, I don't ever want to be here in real life. Might be a pretty fun maze at Horror Nights, but yeah, never like in a real situation like this. Nope. Not for me. Definitely some moments in this movie that must have been inspired by the game Alien Isolation. And I'm not just saying that. I've played that game. I've never beaten it, but I have played it. And I recognize like some sets in this movie. I'm like, that is from that game. Maybe not exactly, but it reminds me enough of it to remind me of it, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying. And then shit finally hits the fan. We got the face huggers, we got the xenomorphs, and it was awesome. I just love the concept of the Alien franchise, you know? These things are just nasty. The face huggers, there are a lot of face huggers in this movie, as you've heard. With the marketing, oh my god. Like, you see in some movie theaters that have face huggers crawling around. Ugh, that's pretty good though. But yeah, these things are aggressive as fuck in this movie, dude. It's great to see. And for the most part, they're done with practical effects. I love that shit. The xenomorphs, dude. I fucking love xenomorphs, man. And seeing them in this movie, yeah, they're awesome. They're scary, they're menacing, and they're actually there. I mean, yeah, sure, I do like the one in Covenant still, but the ones in this movie, they win. Coolest xenomorphs I've ever seen on screen. There's some scary shit, man. And I love how this movie's like, let's put these characters in this kind of situation that we've never seen in an alien movie before. Like, how do you come up with stuff like this? My friend who I saw this with, he was like, yeah, I would have loved to have been in the writer's room when they were coming up with this shit. I couldn't agree more, man, because those are the folks with imagination right there. The suspense is definitely in this movie. And most of all, yeah, it is the gross body horror. Oh my god. I never had to shield my eyes in this movie, which really impresses me, by the way. If you were to show me this movie like 10 years ago, I would have been like, nope. Now these days, I'm like, yeah, bring it on. The blood. The slaughter. It was fun. And that's really all it comes down to for me when it comes to enjoying movies. Did I have fun or not? This movie has a lot of fun, dude. And that does include the body horror. There's some really gross scenes in here, dude. Ugh. That's really why I was surprised I didn't have to shield my eyes. I was like, I guess I can take this now. Cause yeah, there's a lot of blood in this movie. Red blood and yellow acid blood. It's all in here. So my friend and I, we were watching the movie, having a great time. I thought the build-up was kind of slow, but in either case, it was still really good. And then the end happened. And I'm gonna keep this spoiler-free, but the last, like, maybe 15, 20 minutes of the movie, for me, it was just a big what the fuck. And again, I'm not gonna go into spoilers, so I'm pretty much just gonna leave it at that. I personally wasn't a huge fan of the ending of this movie. And the more I think about it, the more I dislike it. Seriously, like, this thing happens, and I was like, what the fuck is going on now? And it did kind of kill it for me. It did keep this movie from getting my best rating, which is unfortunate, I know, but it is what it is. But in the end, overall, I still really enjoyed Alien Romulus. It's a pretty simple movie, actually. This group of people goes up to an outpost, and then alienish things happen. That's the movie. That's pretty much most Alien movies, now that I think about it. And I will say it does succeed in what it sets out to do, which is take it back to that horror tone that the first movie was known for. And for like 4/5 of the movie, it absolutely does do that. Again, I was like, yeah, I don't ever want to be in this situation in a place like this. I feel sorry for all you motherfuckers, because most of you are probably gonna die. Horrible deaths. I was digging it, I was loving it, and then the end just got too silly for my taste. Oh, the music, before I forget, the score done by Benjamin Wallfish? Awesome! That's really not news when it comes to the Alien franchise. Most of the Alien movies have great scores. It does bring back Jerry Goldsmith's original Alien theme, which is great, I loved hearing it. But even beyond that, in the in-between moments, there were some scenes where I was like, yeah, the score is really standing out here in my mind. It was cool, just great stuff, really good orchestral work. I'm probably gonna get this soundtrack, it was so good. So overall, for Alien Romulus, I will still definitely say, go see this movie while it's in theaters. But seriously, I want to hear the director's explanation for that ending. I just want to know how they came up with that and who thought it was a good idea, because I disagree. So, Alien Romulus, have you seen it yet? What are your thoughts on it? And where does it rank in your Alien movie hierarchy? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace!